What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. Jake, do you think there's anything that could be done over the next month to kind of rouse Saints fans to give a damn right now? Like, if you're listening to this show, in theory, you should be the one that still care. And yet you are the ones who seem to care the least.
So, no, there's nothing that can be done from now until the first game of the regular season. There's just not. Saints fans, and I would throw ourselves into this conversation, this group, they don't believe in Dennis Allen. And so until DA can go out there and put a product on the field that Saints fans believe in, you're not going to get a lot of people clamoring for Dennis Allen's sound, certainly to open a show or to end the show or the middle portion of a show. Like, it doesn't matter. So no, there's nothing he can do. I mean, I think ESPN.com put out like future power rankings, and the Saints were 31st in that, because like no one believes that this franchise right now is going in a direction that is going to be striving to be great in the future, right? They feel like they are striving to be in the middle of the pack in the future. And again, they picked them to be 31st in the NFL. So it's not a great direction right now. You've got some really good players, but those players, as you mentioned, they're a little bit older. You've got some new there, but nobody knows how that new is going to turn out. So until you go out there and start winning some games, probably going to have a lot of the same feedback.
Egato says Mickey's an old soggy salad that was good at one time, but it's just molding now. Daniel says he just had twin girls. Congrats again, Daniel. He says, I don't know if it's a DA talk. In fact, I was changing her diaper, but one of my little girls is very unhappy right now. I mean, look, should I... we have Mickey Loomis sound. It's supposed to be good stuff. That's like, I came up in radio where you're supposed to play this and you're supposed to break it down. I don't know what else to. Here's Mickey Loomis and Alvin Kamara. Let's give it a couple swings here.
Yeah, look, he's here. It's I haven't had a conversation with him today, but he's here. I appreciate that he's here. And look, I think one thing that you have to understand, or we have to understand, is that I'm going to be conservative here. I'd say 50% of our organization, players, coaches, administrators, scouts, feel like they're underpaid, right? And believe they deserve and want more money, and how each of us respond to that and act accordingly. Listen, that's a personal issue, and so I appreciate that he's here. I think those are questions that you have to ask him how he's feeling, but I appreciate that he's here, and he's in great shape like he always is, and looking for a good season. But more importantly, I think for him is he wants to win. So, just like the rest of us.
All right. Was it a strike or a ball for Mickey? What do we got?
That's a strike for me.
Yeah.
It's a strike for you?
Wait,
Yeah.
So no interest in the fact that one of the underlying themes does seem to be that Alvin Kamara is in great shape still?
No, I
both
mean,
had-
he's a professional athlete. I assumed he was in good shape coming to camp.
A pretty fair point.
Yeah.
They
No
they
gum.
both had something to say about how fit he looked.
Yeah,
They're like,
no.
he's in
Everybody's
great
been,
shape.
and to be fair, it's even what the reporter's been saying from minicamp and everything.
Yeah.
But kind of Taylor's point, that has been the consistent. Alvin Kamara's conditioning and body, he's never been one of the players where that's ever been the issue. I thought it was a little insightful or pretty true that basically everybody in the world feels underpaid.
I did like how he was like, look, guys, we're the Saints. We've underpaid everyone in our organization.
No,
not
he
just
didn't
Kamara.
say
No,
that.
I
He
know,
said
okay.
everyone feels underpaid,
Kinda
and
what it
that's
felt
true.
like. Yeah.
Everyone feels underpaid. Like, I want everybody to look in the mirror right now and ask yourself if you feel underpaid. I did it for like a couple years. That was great. And then I, the other stuff like went out the window here recently. It's like, yeah, now everybody does at one point or another.
I will say, as someone who cuts these sound bites and listens to the entirety of the press conference, I feel like Dennis Allen never really has anything of substance to say.
No, it is
and
very
he just talks
vapid.
in circles, and it's like, look, listen. And he doesn't really actually ever answer questions, I don't feel like.
Okay. Well, let's do this then. Klint Kubiak is our Lord and Savior. That is who we are putting all of our hopes into. In fact, You know how they have the candles we've always seen? What are like the Catholic candles that people buy and burn, right? We need some Kubiak candles, okay? Because that's the only way this season is going to work out.
I bet they sell those in New Orleans already.
They probably already do. They probably maybe. Does you think Kubiak has enough does he have enough public profile at this point to make it into gas stations and smoke shops? I'm not quite sure yet. But here is Mickey Loomis on Klint Kubiak.
Yeah, he's
0-1 count.
He's super smart, innovative. I think he has a real confident demeanor about him. He's quiet, but he has a confident demeanor. Knows what he's trying to get accomplished, and yet I think he's also there's an open-mindedness to him that if something if he has a round hole in a square peg, he's going to figure out a way to make that work. And so I've been impressed. I've been impressed with the number of the new guys that we have.
Ball or strike?
I'm actually going to say ball. He stumbled a little bit, but, he talked about Kubiak's confidence, his ability to adapt. It was positive.
See, that's interesting because I almost feel more of an 0-2 count there because, give me something I didn't know or that you couldn't just say about any human being
They're not going to do
that you have pleasant interactions with. Just give me anything. You can, though. You can be engaging in these things and not revealing trade secrets. All right, so we're on an 0-2 count.
Yeah.
Oh God, there's no way the Loomis on Ram Chick's gonna save this. DBJ West says T-Bob, the biggest Saints apologist. Look, I'm a natural optimist. Okay. Here at Guarantee, the higher-ups have gotten real into Enneagrams, and they assign you a number, and it's some personality kind of themes, and it's got to be very attractive to leadership, like any of these systems are, which I definitely understand. If you're at the head of an organization, and you have a lot of people that have to work together below you, maybe you lead a team, maybe you lead the entire business. I would understand how much value you would feel in being able to place people into kind of relative. I don't want to say boxes, but relative kind of subsets of, okay, well, this is kind of how this person motivated, this person motivated, and whatever. Where I'm going with this is the number that I've been assigned just says that I'm a natural optimist, right? That I try to basically change reality around me to stay positive. So yes, if I feel like a Saints apologist at times, it's just my natural inclinations, and I kind of wait for the football to prove me wrong. But like we talked about with Nick yesterday, there are numbers to say that it's weird. The Saints are more boring than they are bad, which in some ways may be damning, right? They are so firmly mediocre as to almost be more frustrating than the Bears in some ways. But the thing about mediocre is it's still a much better base upon which to build than are the Bears. Scott Dice says it took 30 minutes to lose all hope. No, guys, no. Make defense great again says I've never had less faith in the Saints than I do right now, and it's disappointing. Again, I can't help but some of this emotion is a bit overdone. Shabbat says the DA Saints are giving me 95, 96 Mora era vibes to me. All right. Let's give me the best Loomis sound you got. It's an 0-2 count. Let's see if Mick can foul one off, maybe find his way to first. Hit me, Alondra.
All right, this is on Chase Young.
Okay.
It's been very positive, and I've been impressed with how hard he's worked to get his rehab done, how his attitude about being on this team and having a chip on his shoulder. I feel like, look, here's a player that feels like he has something to prove, and oftentimes when you're that high a draft pick, that's hard to recapture, and I feel like that's where he's at. And look, again, we're just starting training camp, so we'll get to evaluate. We'll get to evaluate him as a player and where he's at, and we're going to be cautious about. We're not going to rush him out there. We're going to be cautious about how we practice him and get him to the point where he's playing. But we've got a lot of time to do that.
I like it.
I
think that's a single.
Off.
I think that might even be
he may have got
an
a base hit
infield
on that
single,
one, yeah.
dude. He may have gotten a base hit. I love hearing, and I actually take that at face value. That didn't sound. Sometimes you could tell when a guy's talking about his work ethic, blah blah. You could tell they're just very run of the mill, kind of like the previous answers, right? I actually feel like he's being honest there in terms of how Young has approached this entire situation, all in, and it's because the motivations are clear to see outside looking in. Everything he said about Young being a high draft pick, running into these injury problems, not getting what he feels that he deserves. Again, everybody feels like they're underpaid, and Chase Young's someone who has had really good NFL seasons. Like, all of that checks out in my mind. He also gives you a little bit of insight into how the Saints are going to approach the situation, which I also agree with, right? Like, okay, you love how he's progressing, you love how he's doing, but there's still no need to get overly risky with it, right? If you believe in his buy-in, if you believe in the work that he's putting in, the work ethic, the rehab, everything else, well, then let's make sure that all that is allowed to come to fruition over a 17-game season by ramping him up here in a responsible way. Jake, what do you think? Hit or no hit?
I mean, sure. His delivery is just so bad in some of these answers. It's like, wait a minute. Like, you're supposed to be able to command a crowd as the general manager of a team, but it's like, well, let's see. It's like, no, I don't know. I'm waiting to see, but you keep telling me to hold up. Wait a minute. I don't know, man. It's just a lot of nothing answers for me. A lot of just fluff.
Okay, so Golf South and Chris in the chat are accusing me of, they're saying he's a natural optimist except when it comes to LSU. First off, what have I said about LSU that's not very bullish, right? I have them, I keep saying that I kind of think they're a 10-2 team, but I'm just naturally dinging my own optimism to 9-3. Why? Because I've literally done this dance so many years before where I overshoot my expectations on LSU. So eventually you have to have some sort of natural grading mechanism to keep yourself in check. I think y'all are a bit out of pocket on that one. But coming up next, let's shift. We can get away from the Saints a little bit. Camp does open up today. Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.